Oh my gosh, I had an intro in mind, but now I kind of forgot it. Welcome back, folks. We have fans in the chat. It's one of the players yourselves, but of course, we are your casters. Hey, I'm Quack, and with me is the lovely, lovely Donut. Japip says she loves you.
Well, Japeeps, good luck. I know you will do well. Love you back.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, that was a pretty swift-ish victory with SMG taking a 2-0 win over oh my goodness, over
Zolmeraki.
Zilveraki. Thank you. I kind of blanking out because I'm just thinking Japiv's like, I love you, Donut. But of course, she's going to be playing pretty soon because it's Orangutan versus the Queens themselves, Alter Ego Celeste.
Yeah.
So that's going to be. I mean, what do you think, honestly? Because I'm hoping that it's not a swift 2-0, but at the same time, I'm not sure what to expect.
Well, Orangutan, they managed to really create a lot of wins during the opens, the group stages, and also the knockout stages. And they're not strangers to us right now. The team that we're seeing right now, Japeeps is here, and as well as Kachao. They've always been the dynamic duo from the team of Hashira. But we're also seeing Mythica Sway and Casper from the team of Couldn't Care Less, who was actually one of our contenders in FSL Elite, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the well-known South Asian teams or South Asian players from India, from Pakistan, and they are all really, really strong, and they have a really big fan base as well. It's kind of crazy, though, because the way that they qualified into this was by they had to tie it up and kind of calculate the round difference between them or Asteria. It's just kind of unfortunate that they were in the same group, and unfortunately only one of them could qualify for this playoff. So they have to carry on that South Asian flag, and we shall see how they perform because, again, double elimination. So they're going up against Alter Ego Celeste right now. Who knows how that plays out? It could be a little bit rough, but they will have another chance. But of course, this is the roster that we all know and love. Maybe minus Tarathiel, but of course Napsky coming in, she is a very, very welcome addition to the entire team.
Yeah, she's been doing well as the sentinel of the team, and with Tarathiel out of the picture, they're still doing well. Without the brains that we were just really holding high of a regard for the team, they're still the queens. And I think at this point, nobody can take them down, not unless it's gonna be the team of Orangutan to do so.
It's maybe. I mean, honestly, without Tarathiel, it came really close last month because of X10 Crit Female. I mean, they took them all the way, 5 maps. They just kind of ran out of steam, but it's still really, really close. And with Orangutan in the picture now, this is a team that relatively newish, right? Because Kachao and Japips are kind of. They should know each other, I think. The girls, the pro
Yeah,
players,
they do.
right?
They were teammates before.
Oh, they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
And in Valorant and also in another title.
in another title.
So they were friends even before, yeah.
Joining in with the South Asian team. That's the one that I'm kind of curious about because they must be still somewhat unfamiliar with each other. Maybe because they haven't really played with each other for like the longest time compared to a team like Alter Ego Celeste, who also have competed in previous titles before, and they're basically like best friends throughout life. They've been playing since forever.
Yeah.
So talking about experience and team synergy, I believe Alter Ego Celeste has them beat, but let's take a look at
Yeah.
map select. Haven, Icebox,
Yeah.
and Breeze.
Alter Ego has found this new liking for Haven
Right.
because they've had success here, especially in the knockout stages. I think it was the team of Cerulean Sentinel Esports that they went against in the knockout stages. It was a best of 3. AE was able to prevail, but it seems as if they had some loopholes that teams can get into, and maybe that's high time for a team to figure that out, to decode what can be decoded from the secrets of AE Celeste. Why have they been on top all this time, right?
Yeah, there definitely is a reason, and at least from watching from last year, it's just because they have such strong coordination. Every single one of them are seemingly operating at the same frequency, the same pace, the same page, that they just know exactly what to do at the right times. And that's partially because they have played together for so long. But this is definitely interesting because, well, I think it's a little bit of second-hand-ish experience for you, Donut Cerulean Sentinel Esports. That was your team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that best of three where they got knocked out and Alter Ego Celeste took their
Yeah.
spot and qualifying to these playoffs. I mean, what do you have to say about that? Haven as the first map, they have that new liking to it. Why is that so? And how did they really perform so well on it?
I guess in terms of the map picks of other teams right now, with the likes of X10 Crit, they're stronger in the maps of like Icebox and Ascent.
Mm,
And maybe they had to practice these certain maps which were unconventional picks for some of the teams that are strong in it. And Haven was kind of like their wild card in terms of their map
before, yeah.
selection. Yeah, before. And even and it's funny because when we took a look at the map selection throughout the whole of the series, it's gonna be AE to defend first.
AE to defend first. That is, I cannot say for sure because even though they defend, they're on defense. You know they'll push out at some point in time. You got players like Aneri and Ayumi, and you know how well they play together, how aggressive, how sharp they can be. You're gonna have to. You're always going to be paranoid. I don't know how the orangutan players are going to play, but if I were up against the Alter Ego Celeste girls and I was starting on an attack, I'd be constantly turning around just to check my back because you never know. Even with traps or whatever, they could still somehow flank and show up behind you.
Yeah, and that's always going to be the case. They're opportunists, basically. I would
That's a good
really
word.
love to call the queens of VCT game changers to be that way. They're opportunists. If the opponents are too busy trying to push out A, then probably if it's a map of Haven, I'll go out there in Garage or I'll push out C Long to try and get the kills and take advantage of the situation basically. And we're into agent select now, and we'll take a look at what the queens have selected Iceberg as that breach. And I think the only difference here would be the controller and as well as the selection of the sentinel.
Oh boy, I'm still really uncertain. I'm not sure. Breach is a really interesting pick, something that we don't really see too often, but at the same time, it's something that can complement so many other agents, so many other duelists. So it really comes down to how they play, but the one thing that we're all keeping our eyes on is, are Orangutan going to be able to take a single map off of Alter Ego Celeste? It's I'm not sure. I mean, Sway on her jet, that's something that we could consider. She might be able to do a lot with that one agent, but you got to consider the fact that they're going to be going up against this entire squad. This squad that has dominated the entirety of FSL, the entirety of VCT Game Changers, APAC, or even SEA before. I mean, they have not been defeated, not yet at all.
Definitely, they're the gatekeepers of that trophy, and they don't want to let anybody else in. I mean, people have tried to break that door down, but still, they rebuild it in a way after losses. That was a close one, as you mentioned, in Open One against X10 Crit, but they still managed to get that win. And probably that's one of the things that they should be careful about because now that the industry is changing, more and more teams are getting into this game,
Mm.
and more players are being more knowledgeable about the game, then maybe they should change up the pace, because if we all know them to be opportunists, then a counter to opportunity would be a great way to to break that door down and take the trophy away from them.
So possibly changing things up in terms of pace, maybe surprise the Alter Ego Celeste players, just rush them down, possibly. That could be something that could work. I mean, especially on a map like Haven when you have 3 spike sites. I mean, this thing has been talked to death before, talked about to death, excuse me. There's just so many different parts of the map that you got to defend and watch out for that there is a chance for these Orangutan Esports girls to really just break those doors down, right? Rush them down, overwhelm a single point, and then take control over a site. If they can do that, I'm still not sure. Just because it's Alter Ego Celeste,
Yeah.
we know how fast they can rotate, but
Yeah, that's true.
it's one way to do things.
Yeah, I mean, rotations are a thing for Alter Ego Celeste. They are smart about it as well, but it's also their retakes that are undeniably strong for them. So even though map control or site control has been lost, they still manage to use their utility so well to get that win. Even though they're down one more player or it's not an even number, a 2v4, it's still winnable for Alter Ego Celeste.
That's the thing. You can never, ever count out these Alter Ego Celeste girls. As much as I want to, as much as I just want to have a different story for once. Can we see a different Victor? We never really can count them out. They will always have something to say. They just have so much presence. They are just that strong. And that is why I think coming into this, one thing that I might want viewers to watch out for is this duel between perhaps Sway and Inari. The two Jets, the two duelists. Inari is known to be incredibly strong, incredibly sharp. Can Sway really step up to that plate?
Taking that back.
She can. We've seen her do it before, but with the assistance, of course, from Kachao and Japeeps. At the moment, Japeeps and Kachao, they're used to playing that duelist role. Even Japeeps, sometimes she plays a sentinel. So they're out of their comfort zone at the moment. And tags, at least for Oreophilia, she's down to 13. If you keep on jiggling, there's gonna be a bullet to take.
Okay, that is a bullet as well. You got Navsky just hiding in an off angle, and as soon as someone dashes in, Sway gets taken out. It's down to the 4v4 now, and control has been granted to Orangutan, but we're watching for that dreadful, dreadful retake that you were hyping up earlier on of Alter Ego Celeste. They are setting up for it, at the very least. Hiding inside a garage, you got the fault line. There could be so much coordination coming into this. Dash in the bag for an area as well. She's not really using it yet, just waiting and trying to line up some shots. She at the very least spots one out, but Casper teleporting right in front of her. That is not working out too well. Now 3 players staring down this one angle. Mythica, she's going to need a miracle to come out of that one alive, and unfortunately the miracle will not be appearing today. Alter Ego Celeste secures the pistol.
Yeah, and I told you these retakes are something to watch. They were just waiting. I think Iceberg was just really primed using the fault line. And then I think Inari was that trigger. Okay, I'm ready to peek out, and Inari did so.
Here.
While the rest of the team members, I think that was Ayumi
Here.
and Nabsky as well, to close in on towards that site. So these are the types of retakes that we see commonly from AE Celeste. So if you don't really prime yourself in the post plants, if Orangutan doesn't really close in on them as well and maybe catch them off guard, then that's always going to be a win for AE in terms of the defense.
Needs so much more
Right here.
than just a spike getting planted, etc., etc. So, Alter Ego Celeste now kind of pulling off a bit of a default hold, one player in each position. You got Inari watching down short as well. Orangutan are just slowly making their way up mid. I don't know if this is going to work out too well because, first of all, Iceberg is on the other side. Jeff Pips, she's going to have to try to find a little bit more with the recon ball, but here comes Iceberg just spraying it down. Ayumi behind her as well to support. There's way too much on the other side of this one smoke. Casper managing to walk in towards the A site. The best that she can hope for is a couple of frags, but not even. This is a flawless win for Alter Ego Celeste.
And a flawless is something that we expected at least because of their buys, but at that point, maybe that was just a mistake for Orangutan's push. The dash in there was anticipated by Iceberg, and after that first kill, Iceberg just really wanted to spray them down because of all of the smokes in front of her. There was a smoke there from Oreophilia, but there was also that cloud burst from Sway. And even if they weren't ready, she was actually reloading. But the rest of the members of AE, they already rotated. That was fast. And at this point, Orangutan, I don't think that maybe that fast B push is going to be workable for them. They need to find other places, and A is what they want to take.
It's the side that's most difficult to retake from as well. So if they can push down this one position, if they can actually claim it, that would be wonderful. Olive Drone does spot out one player though, so it forces them to retreat for a little bit. But again, this might just bait out some rotations. Actually, okay. Alter Ego Celeste are hovering around the B site. You got Oreophilia walking in towards the C cubby position. If they can take down the C site, that would be wonderful. But even stunned, the headshots are still painful. She takes out at least one with her. And what did we say about the fast rotations? Look at how Alter Ego Celeste hovering around B site have already made their way onto C. Oh, Iceberg.
Just one piece of utility, and Iceberg is waiting.
Oh,
There's
no.
gonna be the recon bolt, but the flash in. She spots out one, but then it's just one person remaining. It's gonna be Sway from behind. They don't know where
One
to
enemy
go.
remaining.
She spots out one, gets a headshot through the box, but Yumi is waiting. She knows where she is. The flick, though, she was looking left and right, and timing was left, and Sway was there. She ate up all of the bullets. That was a double headshot with a Spectre. Was it?
It was a
looked like
Spectre.
it.
It was a Spectre. I'm speechless. Of all players, of course, Ayumi is the one that's that fast that she just reacts as soon as you peek out. Or maybe she even anticipated it, but that's just incredibly strong. And now that they've won 3 rounds in a row, Operator being pulled out by a Neri. This is a game. This is a game, Donut.
Yeah, and Neri with that operator, we've seen her use that, and she seems so unstoppable with it. I guess at this point, Orangutan, they need to be using Japeeps and Kachao's utilities so much more in terms of the push. Yes, they were caught off guard by the push there by one of the members of Alter Ego Celeste. I think it was Iceberg just waiting inside the smoke and finding that timing.
Yes.
But I guess not with just the pushes, but also for anticipating when AE Celeste will be there for the retake would be a good way to use all of the utilities. Like using the aftershock, right? To really clear all of those corners where Iceberg is going to sneak into. That could be a possibility.
There's a lot more that I think needs to be done in order to take down these Alter Ego Celeste girls, and utility is one of those things. Like you're talking about the aftershocks or maybe even shock darts that they could use, but I think it's just a little bit of an oversight. Orangutan, they really just weren't expecting Alter Ego Celeste to be that fast, but I think at some point you kind of need to assume that they are just everywhere, because honestly, when you're rotating all the way from A to C, that does take up quite a bit of time. And somehow, Alter Ego Celeste are just that much faster. They are able to already be in position, hiding inside of smokes. It's things like that that make them the queens of VCT Game Changers APAC. But going into this next round now, again, a Neri operator. You've got OG on just not the best buy. Don't really see this round going any other way, and Neri's proving us right.
I mean, look at that. An operator push in terms of the defense.
Oh my
so
god.
where else would you go? You would go to C, and Iceberg is yet again hiding inside the smoke. Kachao. With this Marshall, what else can you do though? Not unless you find the timing.
No
is
way.
waiting.
Flawless.
And Dario peeks out, crouches to get the kill, and Navsky to finish things off. Another flawless round for AE.
Absolutely unbelievable. Everywhere they go, they get met with so many strong players. You got Neri pushing out of A with the operator. Yeah, if you're an OG and you're hearing the team comms like, hell no, I'm not going there. I'm backing out. I'm gonna go to C. And of course, when you go into C, Iceberg is waiting for you. Where else could you possibly go? You could try B, but that's not really the best site to take either. I mean, they tried rushing into that one spot once, and they got absolutely destroyed. What can OG really do now?
I mean, in terms of really the plays, they haven't really done any default plays.
True.
It's just really Casper creating
Oh no.
opportunities by just flanking. But look at this flank
Oh,
yet
no.
again. Manabsky and Neri has already taken control of the site, so it's gonna be easier for the retake because they have A-long control.
Spike planted.
A-long control. You've got the Hunter's Fury now, and it's going to tag up not 2, but 3 players if you consider the one that was killed. Here comes Sway, though, watching out the back. She will take out 1 player, but Aneri pops her Blade Storm. She's looking for the frags. She got her 2nd, now she's looking for the 3rd. Mythica swats her down, and there's a little bit more hope for OG. Not for long, though, because 3 players are already on site, and that is just so much to deal with. A target-rich environment, and unfortunately, she could not nail them. 5-0, Donut. 5-0.
This is scary for the team of OG. They haven't really found, and if the team of AE they're opportunists and OG isn't a team that finds it for themselves, then this is gonna be scary. Because looking at the timer, that was just 30 seconds, and Nabsky and Ineri has already gotten a lot of map control.
Get out of my way!
And if they don't really control it that well with the use of Mythica's utilities, then they're just gonna really be shut down.
Yeah.
Look at this. They've already pushed up yet again in mid this
You
time.
talked about them being opportunists. If you're not holding a default against AEC, you know they're going to start pushing out. You know they're going to start
Not coming
taking
back.
whatever space that they can. And that is what they are doing. I mean, Inari's already up there. You got Napsky as well watching down middle. Rendezvous, she can rotate anywhere, anytime that she wants. They're going to funnel them in towards the A side. And with Inari pulling off a flank with an operator, knowing how sharp she can be, there are going to be some players getting eliminated pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty soon they still have a lot of the utilities though. And
Oh,
Ari
wow.
has pushed up, gets paranoid, but she dashes away to safety. She knows that she's gonna be safer if retakes with the team. Navsky has already taken down the peeps, and a Rolling Thunder is ready for Iceberg to use, but choose not to use it just yet because they're able to take down the kills, and Ari just uses the classic and
player
Aruphilia.
standing.
Mythica Casper actually takes down 2. It's down to Aruphilia. Casper uses the From the Shadows to TP away, and Mythica finds the opportunity that they need to take the first round away from AE Celeste.
Not bad at all. That's one way to do it. Of course, A site, again, one of the more difficult sites to retake just because there's too much to push out from. Unfortunately, AEC maybe didn't really have the best duels that they could look for. They got the initial one. They got Inari kind of pulling off a little bit of attention from A short and A long as well. But once it came down to it, as they tried to push out of A link itself, there were way too many angles to watch, and along with the teleport coming in from Casper as well, it's just a little bit too much for AEC to deal with, and this could be one way for Orangutan to come up with wins. Continue to send players down A, and if they can find favorable trades, if they can find favorable control over the site, they might just be able to chain a couple more wins.
That was a good opening though, at least for Casper, but easily traded out there by Ayumi. Good control, at least. Ayumi is down to 30 HP. They want to take A. As you mentioned, the rotations aren't as quick now for AE Celeste. They are guarding each of the entrances. And once they have that information, then the rotations will come in. Still, 50 seconds is a lot of time to work with for Orangutan. And it seems as if they want to go to A and uses the Rolling Thunder, but nobody's there. Nobody's stunned.
So it's a little bit of a waste-ish. AEC kind of anticipated this, perhaps. They're just setting up for the retakes, and now they're going to go in with the push. You got Napski from the top of window now as well. I'm not sure if Orangutan are expecting this. One thing that they've got going for them, though, still equal players. Thought they had a killjoy earlier on, but Mythica already got eliminated. Now with the push coming in, everyone coordinating, everyone pushing at the same time. There's just so much to deal with. That OG gets kicked out. It's 5-1, it's 6-1 as AEC claims yet another win.
I think at that point, they failed to use the recon bolt or even a drone from Japips before using the Rolling Thunder, because that could have been a better investment during the post plants to try and counter Iceberg's own Rolling Thunder, right? I think that was just really some utility mistakes for them, some decisions that maybe because AE Celeste, they love really guarding the A site. That's why they expended that Rolling Thunder there. But still, information is key, and they have the Sova to do so. And I guess those were just really small mistakes that keep on snowballing them to get to actually not win the round.
Absolutely.
AE Celeste, they've been so good in terms of the retake. Yes, they failed just that one time. But if you rack up a lot of orbs for Iceberg, retakes will just be unstoppable for AE.
It's really costly. All these little things add up. Like you're talking about alt orbs, but it's also spending ultimates when it's not really necessary, or even utility as well. Sometimes when it gets wasted. It's tiny things like that that kind of allow for Alter Ego Celeste to really come in with really strong leads throughout the entire game. I mean, even look at this round right now. They know that they have a huge lead in terms of economy, and they are looking to exploit it. You got Napski pulling out the tour de force. They're already trying to gain control over the middle. What can OG really do?
Yeah, and even that turret has been destroyed by Inari's operator. She was stunned. She had nothing to do. She can't really take out or take back that turret anymore, and Iceberg finds Sway. Trade there by Casper, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. Kachao just runs back to safety. She's just using classic, but Casper has already taken control of this C site. But rotation for the spike. Oops. Iceberg jiggles. Kachao is spotted out for the Neri with the shorty. No more Vandal for the team of Orangutan. That was such a risk. But not much reward. It's just going to be a reward of the spike net.
Still, lovely little economy boost, 300 credits. Can they hold down the site though? Got 2 players on site, 1 inside of garage, watching for the flanks. Finally catching on that Iceberg has been spotted. Again, the main force coming outside of C-Link, and Neri, each operator shot so much damage. Tour de force as well. Comes down to Kachao with 11 HP, finds the Phantom, but unfortunately not able to find the frag along with it. 7-1, and AEC are not slowing down at all.
Yep, that's true. What I just really doubted for that one was the use of either the Hunter's Fury for Japips or even the lockdown from Mythica. They had a chance to do so because they were already settled in the site. If they know that AE has all of the guns that they need for the retake and even all of the utilities, then probably just slowing down the retake can help them out. Because in terms of the duels, they win it sometimes, but still, you need to maximize the utility, and I don't think Orangutan is doing so well with that.
Certainly not, at least not for now. They're certainly trying different things. A short and long aren't really options with a Neri back into play. So for the first time, they could be trying to pull off a bit of a C split, take control over garage, maybe even attempt to use it as a point to cut off rotations. C site is completely clear right now, so they could do it. But Yumi is already rotating over. There are 3 players inside of garage, and C-Link, AEC are using this to get so much information. They've already spotted out Mythica, and this is where things could go entirely wrong. Thankfully, she makes it a trade, though. And with the spike planted now, Pips using the Hunter's Fury a little bit early. Not sure how this is going to fare for the rest of the retake.
Yep, Neri has been using the same operator. As we saw, she bought that Matsui. Could find the timing. This could be big for them, but misses the shot. She gets the headshot, but still traded out. Down to Jabeeps. She sees the diffuser, but Ophelia takes down the Sova of the team. And yet again, this is a bigger lead at the moment. AE Celeste 8-1.
It's so big, and you talked about it. I believe she bought that operator in round number 4 after they won the bonus, and they haven't dropped it since. There was a point in time when Neri got eliminated, but Iceberg picked it right back up, and they are just that strong. Even in defenses, even in retaking, they know how to control the map. They know how to read it really well as well, and NG are just really having such a tough time trying to find favorable entries. Going back in towards A long. A little bit of an owl drone causes Scenario to whiff just for a second, but look at how she repositions just as fast.
There's going to be a lockdown. So she's trying to gain sight, but it's been destroyed by Ayumi. She even gets a tag with that ultimate, and Neri doesn't stop at all. She just uses the Blade Storm instead, and with the rest of the members already rotated, it is just a cleanup for AE Celeste 9-1. That was a quick round. They thought that the lockdown would give them the space. The space was taken away by the Hunter's Fury. And if we were to compare the use of the ultimates for AE Celeste and Orangutan, AE, they find it more favorable. Even though there isn't a kill, we expect usually a Hunter's Fury to take down 2 or 3 members or even a tag. No, it's been used to destroy the space taker of OG.
Yeah. It's just... You don't really have room to maneuver around. Now OG is just grasping at straws, trying to find whatever they can, walking through smokes, in towards the B site they go, but unfortunately Sway gets eliminated. This feels like 2021 all over again, Donut, because AEC are back in full swing and they are not dropping a single round. It's absolute and utter domination. Japips stuck in this one corner, tries to find a couple of frags, but Iceberg just cleans it up. 10-1, Donut. 10-1.
Last round in the half.
AE, how they managed to win the rounds, I noticed it is just so quick. I mean, as I mentioned, they're opportunists, and the way that Ophelia was just able to walk down through C long together with another player, and Nabsky just holding down the fort there in the B site, just means that there's ultimate trust for each of the team members. Okay, Ophelia might be taken down there by Casper, but there is going to be that trades always and time again.
Utmost trust in every single player being so individually strong as well. I mean, they just avoided that rolling thunder. You got a Neri waiting with the shorty. She sees a little bit of danger, so she backs out, but unfortunately gets fragged out by Mythica. Ophelia is there to trade, and again, it's so fast. Every single time there's a little bit of damage, AEC answers back in full. And here comes Ayumi. Shock dart, she rushes up front, even taking down Japips. 11-1 at the end of the first half. That's really painful, Donut. That's painful.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's another round of motivation probably for Orangutan. They had a bit of a slow start, and the more that they play slower, the more that AE Celeste just really takes over so fast. I mean, in terms of the information that they do, it's usually just Ophelia jiggle peeking C long. If nobody's there, then they push out. But it's not just her. It's going to be another player with her, just just to be there present for the trade. And that's what's scary about AE Celeste. No matter how much you want to try and outsmart them by just playing back like what Casper did, no, it's always going to be the teamwork that's present for AE.
Just like, it's the best teamwork that we've seen throughout the entirety of this VCT Game Changers ever since the first year, not even just last year. Ever since the game came out, they've been playing it since the start, and they've been undefeatable. I mean, the one round where Orangutan were able to steal one win away, it was really down to that retake on the A site, and I think that was a little bit unfortunate as well, just because AECL weren't able to find some duels. A lot of the angles were being blocked out, and the OG players were also watching them at the same time, able to secure some frags and kills that they really needed. Apart from that one round, there hasn't really been much success at all, like none, and that's terrifying.
Not much, and at this point now, because AE Celeste is on the defense, we have to switch it up. And also, Orangutan, they need to switch it up. If the team of AE are opportunists, what more can be done during the attack, right? I would expect at least Aureophilia together with Nabsky to be together flanking because of the range of the use of smokes that Astra would have, right, in the map of Haven. And also, there are 3 sites that you have to defend. Now, at this point, I think what Orangutan has to do, what the team of Orangutan has to do, is to just choose the site that they would want to defend. Because if they're up against AE...
You cannot.
Yeah, you can't really... If you are the sole defender of the B site, Neri dashes in, and there's going to be a blind there by Iceberg, what else can you do? I guess that's really more of what OG can do. Just select a site and then opt for a retake. That's the best bet.
Select a site and opt for a retake. Exactly. My thoughts, exactly. It's if you're one person defending the site and you get AEC just throwing everything that they have at you, the flash, the dash, the frags, the pistols, you're not going to stand a chance. And yeah, knowing AECL, you can bet that they're going to go in with some hyper-aggressive play. This is 11-1 now. If they win this pistol and it's match point, OG, you're forced to force buy on the next round. That's basically game over. It's going to be so hard to come back from at this point that you need to just bank on one site. And I think that's what they're trying to do, but you got players pushing out a B as well. They should be able to call that this is an A play. Set up for the retake now.
And then for the retake, at least Mythica is still very healthy, but they missed the chance in terms of really pushing up. It's going to be Sway to take down Ayumi, though. But initially, Kachao was together with her. But the rest of the members of AECL, they know that maybe they've lost control of A-Long. That's why the breach is there. Iceberg is there, but the rest are just waiting here in the site. One's ready to destroy the recon, while Aneri and Nabsky are ready to move up for the boost. But Nabsky actually gets one Aneri with a double, but Sway is there for the trade. It's a 1v1.
Oh no. She does not expect Iceberg to be coming in from A-Link. No chance at all. Iceberg just took the long trip all the way outside of A-Long, down the middle, in towards the B side, just to set up for this positional play, and Mythica does not expect it. 12-1 match point. I really don't know what else to say, Donut.
Well, the forced buy is coming in as you predicted, at least for Orangutan, but I think the rest of them didn't really get enough frags. Yeah, so they don't have that much money. Yes, there was a spike plant, but look at Casper. She's gonna be using a sheriff and a half armor. I don't think this is enough though. Iceberg is just running through the fault line, just catches Sway here. He has to dash away, but Nabsky with the smoke plays down, and there's gonna be an area yet again. Just through the smoke place, AE Celeste, they get the site, and they also get the frags.
Look at them. They're not slowing down. They're not stopping at all. They're just rushing down these two players who are so unfortunate and hiding inside a garage window. Every single one rushing down that one spot. It's just, it feels so uncomfortable. Like, you're afraid that someone's going to be hitting you from the back. And then at the same time, you got Naneri spamming sheriff shots from the bottom. Oh my goodness. 13-1. And this is just the first map in the series. It's Alter Ego Celeste. Enough said.
Yeah, I mean, they chose the map for a reason. It's as if they know, even behind the smokes, where the team of Orangutan will be. Behind the smoke, through the smoke kills from the rest of the team members of AE Celeste. They may be predictable at some times, but with how they are so aware of the map, it makes them even more powerful. With that push, it was so fast. That fault line, that blind allows Eneri to take control of the seaside in just a snap.
It's seriously just that one, like, Thanos snap, and all the Orangutan esports players just turned to dust. I really don't know what else to say, because Alter Ego Celeste are that strong. I mean, this is proof. This is evidence that they are that incredibly strong team. And let's just take a look at the scoreboard, because I can't imagine the numbers that Neri's putting up. We saw Kohibi with a 30 bomb, but with a 13-1, and Neri with that 3.4 kill death assist, 18 kills. Share it a little bit with the rest of your team, okay?
Well, still, I think in terms of the assistance of the team, look at Oreophilia. She has a KD of 4.5. Although she might not be getting as much of the frags that we expected her to do, still, I mean, her deaths, it means she might be truly immortal. she has less deaths than the rest of the team members.
Nice one, okay. But this is really just this team, and with the way that they make use of their, oh wow, this is one of the rare times that you actually see every single stat being green. Yeah, the positioning, the utility, they're truly outsmarting and outplaying every single team, every single player that comes their way. And even with Orangutan, we know that these players are no slouches themselves. Orangutan, they're not bad. They are strong players. You see that they know how to shoot, they know how to aim. But when it comes to these team plays, it's missing a little something.
Definitely, because I think I saw a post of Gachao one time. She mentioned that they were just newly formed.
Yes.
In Open 2, they just had a week's worth of practice. And maybe that team play hasn't really been built. Yes, they are individually skilled, but against the team of AE Celeste, the skill actually just disintegrates when it comes to how smart they would play the map and how much map control they would take away from you.
It's little bits of that. I mean, watching a team like Alter Ego Celeste plays, we talked about Thanos finger snaps. Honestly, with the way that they're so coordinated, they're like the Avengers. It's like when, I don't know if this is spoilers, I mean, this movie's old by now, but it's like when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, and then they combo off of each other with a shield and everything. It's incredibly fun to watch, and that is why you do not want to close your browser right now. We're going to go for a quick break, but after this, it's going to be Icebox, Orangutan's map pick. Will they be able to take that map? Will they be able to win one map off of Alter Ego Celeste? Stay tuned to find out.
Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, got. Down, up, back, down, up, back, up, got. Down, up, back, up, got. Down, up, back, up, got. Down, up, back, got. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. Got. Down, up, back, up, got. Down, up, back, got. Down, up, back, got. Down, up, back, up, got. Down, up, back,
money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank.
Hit you with the 808.
Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank.
Welcome back to VCT Game Changers APAC series. This is the second best of three that you will be seeing. The first time we're seeing the team of Orangutan, but not really the first time AE winning in such good form. A 13-1 in the map of Haven. My name is Donut. With me is Hey, I am Quack, and we will be your casters for this amazing game number 2.
It's it's so amazing. 13-1, Donut. 13-1. And I don't know what to expect for Icebox. I mean, during the break, I'm like trying to look for stats and maybe trying to see some patterns in how AEC play Icebox. But I mean, they've played that map a total of 6 times so far, I think, this year, and they've won 6 times. So that's honestly terrifying. And if you're Orangutan, you definitely need some kind of a plan. Otherwise, this could be a walkover.
Yeah, and that's such a bold move for the team of Orangutan to choose Icebox. This might be their strongest map, but looking at AE Celeste's stats, 100% win rate, never losing just yet, means that we're in it for a show. If this is a great map for the team of Orangutan, then this might be something shaky as well for them because AE Celeste, the Queens, we're ready to see Agent Select, though. I'm interested to see what the team. Sorry, this is not yet Agent Select. This
In a bit.
is map selection, and this is. I mean, this is again the case. Alter Ego Celeste choosing the defense
Yeah.
first.
But talking about map select, this picture of Icebox, this is old. Icebox has been changed, right? And I think this is where perhaps Orangutan could stand a chance, just because the map has been changed. Those tiny little changes kind of effectively turn it into a whole new map. I mean, B site doesn't look like this anymore. There are all these tiny little corners that, at the same time, you might be able to use some of the same old agent compositions, perhaps bring a new chamber or something. You still want Viper as your controller, but you're going to have to be a little bit more precise about how you line up your toxic screens and all that, just because there are all these different spots, different spaces that your opponents can make use of. And with the way that the sides have been selected as well, Alter Ego Celeste starting on defense, I don't know how that's going to fare for Orangutan, honestly.
Well, I guess the only agent to be eliminated, at least from the original one, is the Sage, because that's how they formed it. And I'm interested to see if the Sage will still come into play.
no.
Right now, at least Orangutan chooses the Sage under the belt of Kachao. And for AE Celeste, they also do have a Sage. It's Aureophilia using the agent.
Still useful and effective at the very least for blocking out areas like Tube, maybe even giving yourself a little bit of elevation. But, wow, apart from that, every single player is an exact mirror matchup yet again, similar to what we saw between SMG and, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name again, Zomeraki. Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, it's the same case for Breeze, right? There are agents that are very, very effective, and even in the map of Icebox, though they changed the layout a little bit, some teams would prefer the original yet effective agent composition. And I guess at least I think I've seen some teams use a double controller setup here. They would use the Omen just to really take advantage of these high grounds. You have a nest, you have the top of the tube, and then as well as the top of the boxes there in the A site. But still, if you want to win, you want to be effective.
Yeah, and then some of these agent compositions truly are optimal, but I'm really not too sure how this is going to play out for Orangutan again. The balance changes might have made this map a little bit more friendly for attackers, but you're going to need so much more just because you're going up against a team like Alter Ego Celeste. Someone in the chat pointed out that AECL has been formed since 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Orangutan, they were only formed 2 weeks ago. I don't know if it's really 2 weeks, but they really are this newly formed team. They might have been playing together for a while, but as a team, you're going to need so much more coordination, especially when you're going up against a team like Alter Ego Celeste. So really utilizing all these new changes in the maps, using different coordinated plays and strategies as well, is going to be key in taking down a couple of rounds away from Alter Ego Celeste.
And they managed to pull that string right in the map of Haven because of the coordination that they were able to do, like refreshing the smokes, at least for Casper, to try and delay the push. And this might be the same case for Icebox when it comes down to the wire of attacking. It's just really looking for those opening picks. And for the likes of Kachao and Japeeps, they do like to do that as well. Not too sure about Sway. Yes, she is a little bit more aggressive, but she has to be assisted by the rest of the members in terms of the support as well. Because when you get to Icebox, if you dash in towards the A site, you still have these blind spots that you have to have your teammates cover for you, because you think you're safe because you're already in the site, but not really, because there are certain angles and certain off angles that AE would really, really love to hold.
Blind spots, exactly. I mean, A site, there are some new crates. You can still hide around pipes as well. Maybe even somehow push yourself on top of screens. And I think that's what Napski, that's where Napski is positioned right now. OG though, opting to go towards B instead. But look at what Ayumi's doing. She's already boosted up in this elevated angle. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to find a pre-aimed shot. Meanwhile, all she really needs to do is time her shots effectively. But wow, Sway with the Ferrari peak takes her down with a headshot. Can Inari hold and make use of her yellow position?
Well, she hasn't been spotted just yet, and Mythica comes in at the right time to get the kill. The recon bolt was lovely, but Kachao is going to be there for the peak. They're going to be safely finding the spike, but the shock bolts are going to hurt. She's down to 47 HP, and Nabsky able to take down her clone. They sense that there is one there, but Iceberg just manages to go through yellow. Oops. Misses that
Last
recon
player
bolt, though.
standing.
Maybe that was there to try and figure out if somebody was close while Sway was
enemy
peeking,
remaining.
but a double
Oh
peek
my
here. She
goodness.
manages to isolate the duel's Iceberg. Tries to get to it to half, but that recon bolt just proved 11 HP. Iceberg still wins the duel. That was a winnable round for Orangutan, and this must be frustrating because AECL, they get the pistol round yet again.
You're with me.
Oh my goodness. Must be frustrating, but it's so crucial that they do not let themselves get frustrated, right? You still have several more rounds to go. And again, with that win, Alter Ego Celeste just show how effective they can be. Yeah, they might not have really anchored down the site as effectively. They might have gotten overrun at times, but Inari and Ayumi, they did so much damage in that process. So many players got banged down to about 30, 50 HP. That shock darts and just shots from the Ghost can really clean them up. And that's part of the reason why they were able to win that round 1-0. Coming into the next, though, again, it's coming down to these positions. They're getting information, but not really able to lock down the duels yet. The angles are really different now on the site, and it's something that favors and allows for OG to push up more effectively. A little bit of suppressive fire from the Marshal and the Spectre as well, but Sway just goes in with yet another swing. It's working out. They get the spike down. Let's see if they can hold it a little bit longer.
Well, I love what Sway has been doing. She's proving that her IGN is something that she should keep. Every time she sways, she gets a kill through the peak. But yet again, AE losing in with the Shuri pick. Neri gets tagged down to 9 HP. Ayumi gets a kill, but and Casper gets kills of their own. Casper with his peak
enemy
though.
remaining.
Ayumi
What?
is so
Last
ready
player
with
standing.
that. No scope. She gets one. But Sway is hiding behind the
No
wall.
one else could
Uh-oh.
do this.
Has to be a fake. Sway thinks that it is, but it isn't. Half was a spike, but Sway gets the kill. That was a low buy for Orangutan, and they managed to steal away the most important round for AE Celeste.
I think getting a little bit confident, a little bit overzealous perhaps. They're banking a lot on their firepower alone. Firepower and aim, if you will. Alter Ego Celeste have themselves up in elevated positions and expecting them to be able to secure frags as soon as OG pushes out, but unfortunately they whiffed some shots, and that allows for OG to take up a lot more space, and coming up to it finally at the end. Picking out the Spectre really nets them the win. And along with that win, now they have the eco boost. They're going to go into this round with huge guns, Vandals all across the board. It's going to be tough for AEC to slow them down.
Yep, they're getting overconfident. Mythica takes down Nabsky, even
Last player
Nabsky
standing.
holding a classic. But at this point, maybe this is a round that they want to get over with, because they have no
Spike
chance against the
planted.
Vandals of Orangutan. And with that, the Peeps takes down Ineri. I think it was just Ineri to buy and invest that round with a Sheriff, but the rest of the members of AE Celeste, they were just holding classics. And this is now their time to shine. OG with a lead. The first time that we're seeing that after the map of Haven. Must be pretty satisfying for them, but still, the satisfaction should be sustained for this round because AE Celeste, this is a threat now to Orangutan.
Absolutely. They've got their own Vandals as well. And look at what they're doing. Oh my god. Positioning, they're pushing down middle, making use of the Poison Cloud. Mythica kind of does expect it though, so holding off a little bit of a default. It's paying off for Orangutan Esports. They're finding the initial frag and trying to find a little bit of space as well. Creeping up and outside of B, they find a couple more. It's an even trade, and this baits out the rotations. Orangutan could actually use this to get the spike planted on A.
That's true, and what they don't know though is Iceberg is just hiding here. There's gonna be a snake bite eating away her HP, and Kachao uses the resurrection towards Casper. And 5 versus 3. It's gonna be quite effective here for OG to push out now. And even with this Viper's Pit, gives them the coverage. But this allows Iceberg to actually sneak in to try and stop the plan.
She certainly thought about it, but got blocked off by the Sage Ball, and now going back into it. So many snake bites right beneath her. Ayumi still able to do quite a bit of damage, though, before finally getting taken out by Mythica. It's down to the 2v3, and this one Viper Spit just covers up so much space, and it becomes such a painful thorn in the sides of AEC. Tries they might walking towards the right side of yellow. It's another potential peek from OG. Wow, using the tap though. Napsky is able to swing off of it, finding the first frag, and now coming down to the 1v1. Napsky stares her down, still finds the frag, has to stick the defuse now, but I don't think she has enough time. It might be a 1-3, but a really painful. Wait, she actually got the defuse by down to 2.23 seconds.
23 seconds for Napsky to get a kill against the Peeps. What? That was unbelievable. I thought that Napsky realized that she had no time anymore, but she stuck it there because she wanted to get the win. The win they got.
But the white circle came out. She still got it. That's amazing. The team play is absolutely incredible. Even when the odds are against them, they are able to turn it around just off of tiny little things like tapping on the spike. I think it was Ayumi peeking off of it. They're able to thin down the numbers and bring it down to a 1v1, which Napsky, perfect crosshair placement, still nails the headshot. And it all starts with them aggressively pushing, aggressively taking control of the map. Ayumi now, so much presence with that one tour de force. OG, they show that they know this map, but they still need more.
Yeah, they need more in terms of the utility. At least it's gonna be Kachao. Oops! I thought that was a counter wall to try and stop the plant, but still Oriovila is able to take down Sway with just the ponytail seen from the jet. And at this point in Neri, we see this in the map of Haven. Control is taken from Neri and taking down challenge of Peeps as well. Mythica, however, gets 3, but it's a 1v1, and it was just a classic against Mythica. And the classic of Mythica prevails. Now OG, they take back the lead against AE Celeste.
This time around, thankfully, they managed to shut down Neri from the flank, and Mythica playing up close and personal with the classic right click. That's how they can steal wins away. It's looking to be a little bit better. And perhaps lulling AEC into a false sense of security. I don't know. They seem to be getting a little bit complacent with the way that they're finding all these duels. Going in for peaks, going for flashy, aggressive plays, Inari updrafting and whatnot. This time around, now that they've got nothing but pistols, every single player positioned on the A site. It's either a really fun firing range for OG or a way for AC to put up a strong barrier.
Yeah, but still, Ayumi finds a frag, even though it's just a headhunter and a couple of pistols for them. I think Inari just lost all of her blades, so I guess she's down to the classic yet again. The peeps will get healed up, and they just really want to re-hit AECL. They think that OG will be rotating towards the B site, but no. They want to take control yet again of the A site, and Sway does the opening.
Spike planted.
A little bit of an opening.
Iceberg uses the Hunter's Fury. Doesn't really catch one in terms of a frag, but she does get a tag against Kachao. I'm not too sure if this is going to be enough. Or Euphilia picks up the classic instead. But Iceberg, we all know her to be very, very sneaky. She might jump out and get a kill with the Sheriff right under her.
Oh!
Oops! But it's gonna be a cleanup for Orangutan, and they get the lead. Maybe this is the reason why they picked Icebox, Quack.
Certainly is, because they're winning rounds now, 2 in a row. And they show that despite losing a player in the initial start of the round, they're able to recover themselves. They're able to put themselves together and still continue to push down A and ultimately take down the AECL players. Of course, they had nothing but pistols, so this was a really welcome win, but 2-4. AECL now have enough to purchase up an operator, see what else they have in store.
Even Navsky expended the Viper Spit here to control anybody from coming in the A site. There's gonna be a drone that tags her up. And even the Hunter's Fury to tag her, but she escapes away. Ayumi is also tagged by that, so at least the team of OG, they know that 2 people are here. But the rotations have come in. The Sage, Ophelia is here as well. But Nabsky, she's not backing down. Even though she's tagged to 20, she wants to keep inside her Viper Spit because this is her strength.
Yeah, not giving up control over this site. OG is forced to find an alternative. That's where they walk straight into Iceberg, who unfortunately is not able to put up that much damage. This might have opened up the B site, but OG trying to toy with their opponents, rotate back in towards A. They need to take down Nabsky along as well as some of the other players who are anchoring down the A site.
30 seconds left.
Of course, their Oriophiliac kind of getting baited over, but the gunshots now sell it all too clearly. Rez comes in as well. They find the frags. This is what they need. They should be able to get the site now.
And Inari still using the operator.
planted.
Might be just a great decision to opt for a save, even though with the low buy, this might be helpful for them for the next round. But I guess they're just really looking for these exits, and Sway is just looking and waiting. But there's a call for a save. At least that's the best thing that they can do at the moment. Ayumi able to take down Sway, who tried to chase them. So maybe these exit frags would be very helpful. But I think they need the guns more than the frags.
Absolutely. Just way too expensive, way too big of an investment. Don't want to throw that away too quickly. This round was just a little bit unfortunate because of the Viper's Pit not really doing what it needed to do, and at the same time, Inari being positioned towards B. So OG avoided death. In fact, able to win yet another round. This is the 3rd round they've won in a row. They're starting to build up a little bit of an economy. 5-2. Let's see if they can continue to bring this into bigger numbers. Perhaps, at the very least, a 7?
Probably a 7. With the rate that they're going, the momentum is really in favor of Orangutan at the moment. And Sway has been very good with looking for these opening frags. And she's out for more, although this is the first time that we've seen her dash up towards tunnel, but Oreo feel a sponsor, but Sway still wins the duel. And these openings, as I mentioned, is very, very important for them.
Blocking
Continue
sight.
the momentum, but
Oh.
Neri with this operator, though, I'm not too sure if they can get a lot of the frag.
Oh no. They cannot. The Vandals prove to be really precise as 2 headshots ring
Only one
forward.
enemy remaining.
Bit of a heal, and it all comes down to Nabsky. Not much else that she can do, especially with the whiff of that shot. And this is OG securing the 6th win in the first half.
This is great for OG because I don't know if you saw that in the last round wherein Neri saved the operator before the spike actually exploded. Kachao was just dancing around together with Casper. Maybe they're enjoying this lead, and even though they lost the first map, they're still motivated to get this win because essentially this is their map pick. So
It is.
they may be just enjoying, and they're more comfortable with all of their agents as compared to Haven, wherein Japeeps was the Sova and then Kachao was the Breach. Kachao now, even as an originally she's a duelist, but the Sage, I can recall she already revived 2 times for the first half. And she's continuing to really rack up the orbs. And the timeout from AECL, quite uncanny.
Right? It's
Right?
you don't see that too often.
They never really call for a timeout, but they need one at the moment.
Which honestly, this is a welcome change. ACL, we love them. They are incredibly strong players, but these OG girls show that they are forced to be reckoned with. With the way that they have been playing Icebox so far, it really forces AECL to think about their decisions. And even right now, Yumi pulling out the Marshall. Yeah, they can't really ego peek a lot of these duels anymore. OG, they figured out a way to take control over the sites, and like you mentioned before, a lot of it is being done by Sway with the way that she's been peeking and even updrafting and till wins all the way to the top of the tube. It's things like that that give them so much control, so much space that ACL, they have to think twice about how they want to position themselves.
Yeah, and that's correct. I mean, maybe the reads have been wrong because Ineri, she's spent a lot for that operator, but wherever the push is, Ineri isn't. And that's the case. Maybe they just really have to place their bets on a specific site. And I guess at this point it's gonna be A, because there are 4 people from AE Celeste trying to guard this. And with the Marshal for a Yumi, it's just gonna be a B hold for her while the rest of the members actually cover the rest of the map. And maybe that's what they talked about during the timeout, right? It's really betting on a specific site.
That's what they're doing for A, at the very least right now. Certainly hope it works out. Not too sure. There is a chance that Yumi's going to get completely overrun, especially with a Marshal too. I mean, even if you're incredibly sharp, a Marshal against players who have heavy armor, heavy shields, that's not going to do too much. It's going to be really, really difficult to stop that. And with the way that B has been adjusted now, it's a little bit more difficult to reposition, I think. Once you're spotted over by yellow, you try to run back into sight. The site itself is so big, so open this time. I think OG are gonna
not unless you have the rendezvous, right? So that's a quick rotation, but not really a rotation that you will need. But
oh my goodness, they're going straight.
Sway yet again.
Yeah. Straight mid to B, all the way from tube in towards kitchen, close range. Ayumi with the Marshal will not be able to do too much at all.
Spike planted.
And even with the Viper Spit, they've had a challenge before, but at least Oreo takes down Sway, the one who swings and always gets a kill. Nabsky is leading the charge in terms of the retake. Where do you look? Do you look inside the Viper's pit or do you look outside where the rest of the team members of OG are waiting?
One enemy
Oops,
remaining.
Mythica is able to get one with a snake bite. They're just waiting. Or Ophelia is just the one. And she doesn't do anything anymore because Mythica with that Viper spit, she was just going around in circles, killing everybody else that comes her way.
The combination of Mythica and Sway. I mean, take a look at that. 16 kills, 4 deaths, 14 kills, 6 deaths. It's incredible. The way they're making use of the Viper's Pit toxic screen as well. It's, I think, a lot of question marks for AECL, and that's a first. The way that they've been pushing down mid and taking quick control of it, it's forcing AECL to rush down this point position right now, along with their sheriffs. I'm not sure if it's actually going to work out, but Neri all the way down tube. She finally comes back into the server. 2 frags. She picks up the Vandal, and she's starting to look for the third.
She spots out the Sage, but together with the drone, they might
planted.
spot out where Mythica is. Now Kachao is stuck there. Probably the drone is her way out, but it's just been destroyed. Now Kachao has to hold that angle. She's slowed down, but Japeeps tries to be the distraction, but Kachao gets a kill anyway. Now she peeks out yet again, but she gets damaged by the shock bolt. She heals up.
Player
Ophelia has the rest, and it's just down to Japeeps in a 1v2.
One enemy remaining.
But still, she's able to get the 3K. Iceberg
Nice.
is gonna peek out, and Japeeps was just holding the perfect angle of 4K and a clutch for Japeeps. Very well done.
Incredibly well done. That is amazing. I mean, you could consider the fact that AECL weren't really up on a full buy. They had nothing but sheriffs. They managed to pick up a couple of Vandals with Aneri pushing all the way down tube. But that was a very lovely recovery. I mean, even with the slow warp being thrown underneath her feet, Kachao just wasn't afraid, wasn't nervous at all. She listened for the footsteps, knew when the peak was coming, and instantly peeked, getting a frag. Japips as well. The smooth recovery. Coming back into it again. It's this aggressive mid play that hasn't been stopped, not once.
Yeah, and they've had so much success. That's why they do it over and over again. But whew, I thought Iceberg was gonna be ready for that. Casper anticipated. One was there guarding the kitchen. And even though Aneri opens up the round, still the trades. OG, they're persistent on really trading out their teammates. And Casper, she wants to go back towards the tube, or Ophelia is
Here.
holding this off angle.
Here.
You will not kill my ally.
Going in for it right now, but even with the rest, it was left a little bit unchecked, and now Aneri's picked up the 3K. 3 players on the other side. We've got 40 seconds left. They can still make a play happen, especially if they're able to take down a Yumi.
Yeah, but Ayumi is just
no.
waiting with the
Oh,
turn,
no.
of course. They line up for her one by one, and she secures the 3K. What a defense
Last
for
round before the switch.
Celeste. With just Ayumi using that ultimate.
3-8. 3-8. Still trying to do whatever they can, and they weren't really expecting a Yumi to be in that position, to say the least. Of course, calling the timeout now. Let's make this an even 9-3. Who cares about curses? But OG, I don't know. They've been doing a lot of these mid plays, and I think AECL is starting to adapt to that. So on this final round of the first half, perhaps it's time to try something else.
Yeah, and maybe this is the reason why they called for a timeout. Whether or not they should be doing that mid push yet again, because Aneri is going to be that watchtower there, right smack in the middle. Every time somebody just crosses, she's going to be there with a headshot kill. And at this point, yes, Ayumi was able to take down 3, but probably one of the reasons for the
Does anyone have
timeout
fun?
is, I'm gonna joke about this, maybe
Does anyone
OG
have
is
fun?
discussing, should we go for the 9-3 or will we be first?
That's a possibility. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. I think it happened on the mainstream somewhere, so you never quite know. But wow, they're certainly setting up for that mid play once
You want to play?
again.
Let's play.
Sway going in for the
Yeah.
aggressive peek, doesn't find anyone around Boiler. The wall goes up and
Spike
Ayumi
down
locks
mid.
them down with an operator of her own. Answered back though by Sway. They don't have to over-aggress. They don't have to push past this wall. In fact, they could just use this for a little bit of information.
Oh,
Wow!
even though the shock bolt misses, Iceberg doesn't miss the phantom kill. And at this point, Japeeps and Mythica, they're looking for an A entry, but Nabsky, she hasn't moved a muscle just yet. She's just watching this A entrance. And if they walk through, this might be one
Oh.
kill, and then Nabsky will just exit out. She uses the toxin screen to give her
enemy
cover,
remaining.
but the second isn't
down
necessarily
A.
hers. Good thing Iceberg is there, but it's just down to Japeeps yet again. We've seen her do this. Clutch situation. She gets one. She spots out second up above, but she doesn't really adjust the crosshair quite right.
Switching
And that's
sides.
the reason why. It's a 4-8. No curse, but still AE reading their opponents quite slowly.
Relatively slowly. They're starting to read into it, right? They're starting to find these different positions. They're starting to spend a lot more resources and effort into locking down this middle position. I mean, earlier on, they were kind of just like, middle, whatever. Well, let's focus more on A because that's where OG were focusing more on at the start of the game. But yeah, it's a lot of these tiny little changes. And in fact, I think towards the end of that round, Japips, her aim is absolutely sharp, but I think she kind of went for the thing where you would swap to your knife, and that also cost her a little bit of time as she tried to reposition her crosshair to the top. So whatever it is, it's still a very lovely new color on the OG girls because they have the lead now, and I can't wait to see if they can actually close out this map.
Yeah, and definitely, this is what I said earlier on. Can they sustain the lead that they've already taken? And in terms of the rounds that they've taken away from AECL, it's always going to be close, or it's going to be quite overwhelming as well for AE, right? We've seen their mid takes and Sway being that person to enter and get those opening kills. But at this point that they're defending, how are they now to switch it up? Will they be aggressing, and will AE be more vigilant when it comes to Sway's attempts to get those openers?
Very good question. I think that's what we're all waiting to see, right, as well. And Alter Ego Celeste, they can be really aggressive themselves, but with this agent composition, it might be a little bit more difficult. You kind of lack a little bit of flashes, but at the same time, you got OG, and they could push out as well, despite being on the defense. There are so many different parts of the map that they can play around with that I'm not too sure how AEC will actually react now that they're at a disadvantage of 4-8.
Well, we've seen this happen, at least for AE. I think they were down just a couple of rounds, not really 4 rounds. This is something that's unusual for us to see.
I've done more
And
with
we'd
less.
love,
Keep fighting.
as you mentioned, that color for OG. Will they still be waving that color of a flag, at least, when it comes to the defense? Because Casper, the moment that she senses danger, uses the rendezvous to safety. Not necessarily one frag, but still, maybe they're opting for the retake instead.
Definitely at the very least. She has not been sussed out yet. Well, along with that pick now, she has. So pre-aimed shots so sharp, Napsky instantly dinking her in the head. Toxic screen goes up as well, and they should be looking to spike planted fairly soon. Doesn't even matter if there is a bit of a DK, the heal will top her back up. Right now, oh my god. We've seen this before, even with the map change. Plays from middle, and it just forces OG to look towards the back. AEC
Oh, no.
are taking so much control over the map that OG are kind of at a loss. They're able to find some more frags to go along with it, but this is taking up so much time. They've got about 30 seconds left, pushing up front now. They need to take down these 3 players.
And Casper might do so while Iceberg is reloaded. No!
Oh.
Iceberg looks towards her direction and even gets a headshot against the creeps. This is the AE Celeste pistol round that they never really lose. This is what happened to them earlier on in the first half. They win it, but OG can strike back with just classics, with a sheriff. At least I don't really think that they'll be investing to keep the lead.
It's, of course they want to keep the lead, but not sure how they can actually do it. Again with the pistol rounds. OG actually made it really close at the start, but coming down into this one, AEC, all they really needed to do was send Ayumi down middle. Now that they have the firepower, they're not slowing down, not that much, just rushing into the A side. All 5 players going to be colliding into each other fairly soon. The walls are getting popped up, and Inari's just not caring much for them at all. Look at how they're just continuing to push up front. Casper trying to find something though, but only good for the 1 headshot, as too many automatic guns continue to rush that down. It's 6-8. Gap is getting a little bit closer.
Yeah, closer after the pistol round win. AE Celeste didn't really let OG take that away from them. That was a good attempt, at least for Kachao, to lock down one part of the site while the rest of the members focused their eyes on the left side of A. But then, if you look to the left, there were 3 people rushing with a ghost and 2 specters. So what can you expect? It's overwhelming. But again, how can they overwhelm? This time with Vandals for OG.
They're trying to hold their ground for now, but look at how AEC just controls it. The slow orb onto the top of pipes. OG are trying to reposition now, slowing and stalling them as much as possible. But AEC just still finds frags through smokes. How is this possible?
I mean, that's a staple for AE. Just early through the smoke, spraying. I mean, still managing to get the kill. The Peeps is able to slow down the plant, but not necessarily stop it. Casper with a beautiful takedown against Inari. And Casper is creeping her way back to the site. But Oreophilia is just really waiting for this. Will she get another kill through the smoke? She's spotted out by that recon boat, but Nabsky with the lineups. This can be very effective, but it's already been halved? Not just yet. They're prioritizing the frags, and Mythica, though, takes down Nabsky. No way to actually throw in another snake bite. OG, they still keep the lead 6-9.
And along with the full buy as well, denying that bonus win for AEC. This gap is getting a little bit wider yet again. And this is how OG continues to pull themselves back into the game. Of course, though, with suffering a little bit of eliminations, their economy's not looking too good. They thought about the judge. The judge might actually be kind of nice.
Yeah, here we go again, getting excited when it comes to judge purchases or even Bucky purchases, but nope, it's going to be Casper using the Tour de Force instead. Even Ayumi with her own Tour de Force. She wants to find the timing in terms of the peak. Maybe once one gets spotted by that owl drone. Ooh. Ayumi was so ready for that. If Kachao peeks, she may be dead at this point.
Can't really peek AEC, especially when they have Tour de Force as well. I have to be a little bit more careful about how they approach this site. At the very least, slowly, or stalling them with slow orbs at the right times, but oh my goodness. Neri's just walking up front. Unfortunately, a little bit body blocking Ayumi for a second allows for 1 frag to go through, but the rest comes in regardless. Tour de Force being spent now means that she has to rely on her headhunter. And just the sheer presence of the OG players alone on the site is preventing AECL from getting the spike down. Japips is here to play now as she has arrived on the scene. An initial headshot, a couple of sprays. She's looking for the third one, and all that remains is Oreophilia trying to stay alive behind the box as she heals herself up, but unfortunately spraying through with the wall bang. She will not be able to secure it with Mythica swinging out from the side. OG at a 10-6 now. These girls just might be able to steal this map away.
Great coordination in terms of the peak. Mythica peeking to the left and Japeeps towards the right. So where else can Oreophilia like really point her crosshair? She was trying to wallbang that box, but that wasn't really enough of an aim punch to slow them down in terms of that re-peek. And you mentioned stealing away this map.
out of my
Now
way.
it's very probable, given that team of AE Celeste, they're on a save yet again, except for Ayumi, who bought up the Vandal.
Poison orb emitting.
The hero Vandal. Perhaps she could afford it. They're trying to still find some picks.
Enemy tag.
Not sure if they can actually do that though, given how strong the OG girls are positioned right now. 3 on the site, 1 towards the back of Snowman. There's just so much for the AC girls to deal with, but okay. Inari with the Blade Storm starts things off with 1 headshot. Heals getting topped up as well, but Sway denies that immediately. Now down to the 3v3. And they are looking for another option. A site getting controlled by 2 players now, but the spike isn't there. Okay.
Oh, they didn't really look left. Nabsky timing against Casper.
player
Chow is there
standing.
for the trade. Iceberg makes it happen though. A 1v2. Now Sway is alone and she's there for the flank.
30 seconds left.
And I don't really think AE Celeste will
Spike
really
planted.
smell this against OG. So Iceberg, she has to be careful if she's gonna walk out through A main. But Sway might really find the timing because the
Last
wall is
player
invested
standing.
there. Sway gets a kill against Iceberg, but Oreophilia is holding down this
Oh.
angle and she sees a headshot against Sway. Now, closing in on the gap, 3 is still huge for OG.
Just a little bit faster, Oreophilia. 7-10. This is still anyone's game now. Alter Ego Celeste, they show that even on the pistols, even on the sheriffs, they are able to find things. I mean, with the way that they pushed up A, with the way that they made the quick rotations, even though the spike wasn't really there yet, they're able to gain quick control. I mean, as soon as the spike gets planted, everyone sets up. They lose the first one, but then there's a trade. That's Alter Ego Celeste.
Definitely. I mean, the trades are always there, and that was a great push there through A. I mean, they thought that Nabsky was alone. That's why Kachao really put her knife out at that moment. And still, these unfortunate situations just keeps happening to OG, but still they recover from it. AE Celeste at this point, when it comes down to the attacks, they make thrifty rounds winnable, but OG, they've been doing so well in terms of the defense. As you mentioned, their positions are very, very great, holding these angles. And even when it comes to rotations, I think they're doing a little bit of adapting to AE Celeste and how they would defend. And I think this is great for OG. What we're looking at, a 10-7 in favor of them, taking down the Queens at least for 1 map.
Not
This is a great story for them.
Not just any map too. This is the map where AEC has a 100% win rate. So OG would be the first ones to turn that into a. My math is not great, but less than 100% win rate, right? They could be the first ones to do that, and I think that would be pretty amazing. This time around, though, because of their economy, they're opting to play for these closer positions instead, but getting droned out. It's now Mythica with the close range duel. Frenzy not really connecting. And that's going to be AC pushing up front. The rest of them, classics, 1 sheriff. This is not too good.
Not too good, because there are still 5 of the members of AE Celeste alive, and Ineri was healed up by that Sage. Peeps might make all of the difference. She's picking up this Vandal. The child able to get a kill. Oops, they managed to make it a 2v2,
Okay.
equalizing the situation. The Peeps gets healed up. She has the Hunter's Fury. Even Kachao spends the resurrection towards Casper. Oops, Iceberg is gonna get tagged up by the Hunter's Fury. That was just a fake though.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Okay, 1v1.
Players there for the trade. What? She drives by. And then just one bullet.
Alright, that was
What?
that was dirty. She knew that she was low or something, or maybe wasn't expecting it, but just got that one shot at the right. I mean, that's
Reaction
perfect.
time.
Perfect mechanics. I can't believe that actually happened.
I have my hands to my head right now. People can't see it, but yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take your hands off your head and help me pick my jaw up off the floor because that was unbelievable. Whatever it is, though.
Unbelievable.
OG not giving up, not backing down. We've got Sway off the save with an operator. She's looking for the head, but you can't really peek a Yumi, not like that anyway. It's way too much, and with 2 players gone now, every single one has to come back in to defend, or at the very least set up for a bit of a retake. Japips locking down the angle, will be able to get the first. But now Aureophilia using her trademarked res and swing. We'll be able to find her as well. Kachao now, the only one here to anchor down the site. Looking for the players that peek out. Spike's getting planted as well now. Goes back in for a little bit of a peek. We'll be able to find the first head. Now looks for the next as Mythica comes in to back her up. We're down to the 2v2. And Neri's positioning has me really worried though as she swings out, finds the first one. Viper Spit comes up, but oh my goodness. Positioning has Mythica down to about 20 HP. The dash as well. She's able to find her. Yumi coming up for they're on the sides. And seals it off with a triple kill. 9-10. Alter Ego Celeste. And this is
Doesn't
just
matter
deadly.
if Ayumi doesn't have the tour de force. She buys up that operator and uses it as if it was her ultimate.
A gift.
The opening kills with an operator is just like, I mean, wow. I mean, I still have my hands to my head at this moment.
She got
will I spot
2
first?
kills as soon as the round started, and this is something that
Get out of my way!
you just cannot peek against this team. You cannot aim duel them. You have to find different ways of finding favorable picks against them. Just holding positions, holding angles. Perhaps that's one way, and that's something that Casper is going to use to eliminate the Neri. Starfrag have to team down now, and they stand a better chance despite having a little bit of not the strongest buy.
Yeah, not the strongest buy for both of the teams because Ineri was just using a sheriff. That's why she was taken down, but at least a good hold for Casper to take down one. Still, Yumi with his operator. One by one, she's looking for them. At least she knows where Japeeps is. That's why she scopes yet again. There's gonna be a fake defuse with Casper to take down Ayumi's operator. Casper, I think this is gonna be the X factor, but with all of the utilities in their way, a fake defuse and Aureophilia is pushing up. Mythica gets a kill with a Marshall, and it's just down to Nabsky. Can't really do anything. Oh, unfortunate though, there is no time. And AE, they close in on the gap 10-10.
10-10 now. This is getting so dangerous and so close. OG, you've got to find a different way to defend now, and calling this tactical timeout at this point in time, that's a good thing.
This is the best way to go. I mean, AE Celeste, they've been really pumping their engines to get that lead out of OG's hands, and they did so. Even with a clutch, OG, they tried to really duel it out during that that retake, but it wasn't enough. With all of the utilities in their way, It was just really perfect time. I mean, Nabsky, she has great aim, but she knows that she has more value if she saves her own life to use that poison cloud and also throw in that snake bite to try and stop anybody from even fake defusing the bomb. That was just so great for AE Celeste, and even though they were taken down one by one, two members of OG stay alive, but the spike was there to eliminate them. That was just unfortunate for OG because they tried to slow things down, but time is pressuring them all the time.
Yeah. Even though they got the frags as well, weren't able to defuse. But they're not backing down either. Sway again with the operator. She's trying it one more time. But once more, gotta be careful about the peaks with that thing.
Let's play.
This is now 10 to 10. The timeout at the very least has somewhat stifled the momentum
Deploying
that
drone.
AECL were building up. Standing a better chance now. Drone will scout out Sway, however. Coming down to it, she's getting tagged up. She has to retreat. This is way too hot for her. She cannot stay on the site. Not the same spot, at least.
Yeah, she repeats as she gets healed by Kachao. And it's not... The good thing about this is AE, they're rotating back. But the silence can actually kill OG because they don't really know where they are. At least your peeps has an inkling that they might be already
Toxins
rotating
going
towards mid. Mythica is just holding this angle.
Oh no.
Timing
They're
though, the
definitely
wall is up.
Mythica hears this. Has to back off to stay alive. Going to be the only anchor of the B side. The rest of the team rotating as fast as possible through middle.
30
They've
seconds
eliminated the lurks, so this is getting a little bit better now as numbers start to favor OG. Viper's pick goes up, and that is yet another obstacle.
Another obstacle here by Nabsky. Although there are four, she can just spray them down through this decay of a Viper Spit. There's a crossfire set up. There's just one. It's actually a Yumi with a tour de force. And she gets one.
Oh.
Chow is down, and Nabsky here
Last
from
player
behind.
standing.
Sway
Enemy
actually
remaining.
misses.
No!
1v1 and a Yumi with a Spectre. She pushes through. And now AECL, they gain the lead. 1 point, Quack.
Oh my gosh. 1 point. This is not the end of the world.
That's a good spot.
If they could possibly go in with a half buy, which is what they're doing, maybe they stand a chance at pulling off a thrifty. If not, they get to go into match point plays with the best possible chances of winning. This is getting so close and so intense that it comes down to it. The OG girls need to play extremely cautious and extremely safe. And at the same time, they need to find ways to get bits of map control as well, because the previous round, when they completely let go of middle, it allowed for AEC to push in through mid, in towards B, which is something that OG did in their first half of the map.
And that risk peak there by Kachao. She gets tagged down. Even a Yumi takes her down. Peeps, however, gets a trade, but a 4v3 against a low buy seems as if it's match point, not unless Casper uses the ultimate together with the Fury of the Peeps, and even with a like great tag.
Last player
Still,
standing.
Ophelia is there. Sway is all alone now. If she gets one kill, she can use her ultimate, but still, it's a team ace for AE Celeste, and now it's match point. From OG's lead
Match point.
to AE's right now.
Still not over yet. We've got the full buys now. Ophelia is nothing but a bulldog.
Right here.
OG could somehow push this into overtime. Playing a little bit more safe, they were trying to pull off some plays. We had Casper with such an incredible shot. Unfortunately, still wasn't enough. AEC are just present everywhere. And now, with the way that they're positioned, seemingly going for a default, OG needs to play the time. They need to be a little bit more careful about how they want to control this map.
And they defaults though. They have the information. 2 are there in B. But the slower that they play, the more control AE has. Look at Ayumi.
Can't aim
She
duel.
already has this A site. B site, I mean.
Absolutely.
She might catch Kachao though.
Oh, she saw the ponytail. I think Kachao's not aware of it. Goes in for a peek, gets traded.
You will not kill my ally.
Nobody knows that Ayumi is here, and Mythica, she might jump down, and that's why Ayumi will take her down. Still 5 people for AE Celeste. This Hunter's Fury should make all of the difference. She does get the kill, and Casper takes one down as well. A 3v2. The spike hasn't been planted just yet, so Oreophilia takes her time. She senses danger, that's why she halts. 30 seconds is enough to work with Casper. She's gonna peek out, TP's away. This means it is safe for a
Spike
plant.
planted.
There is still a wall. That's why the spike is successfully planted. Quack, I'm not too sure what OG can do here.
Well, they have to go in aggressively and find something around green. They have to do it as a duo. Utilities-wise, all they've got is this one recon bolt. And at the very least, they can assure themselves that yellow is clear. So slowly pushing up now. Iceberg spending the Hunter's Fury. You got Navsky lining up snake bites. They can use this advantage to find frags, and there it is. 2 more. It's down to the 1v1. It's coming down to timing yet again, though. Casper finds it, but there's this snake bite. She has to stick it. Does she have time? Casper sticking it, but no! 13 to 10. And Alter Ego Celeste out-time the defenders, all with a spike plant.
That was just unfortunate, yet unbelievable for AE Celeste to maintain their calm during that pressure situation. I loved Oreophilia's decision to really just play it back and then find the right time where she could really plant the spike safely without getting any damage. And when she heard that rendezvous from Casper, that's when she did time that plant. And I think this is what's great about AE's team, is because they don't just really use their aim, but they use their smarts.
Yes.
And OG, they did cut it close. They were in the lead. It's just that they weren't able to sustain that momentum when they were defending, and AE just read them for a couple of rounds. Once they knew where they were placed within the map, that's when AE struck, and they struck really hard.
It was really painful, but Alter Ego Celeste, I mean, that's what they do, right? But the way that they adjust the plays and they start to adapt to how OG has been defending. I mean, there were several times when you would see players trying to hold angles, but AEC are just a little bit more prepared. They would be able to pre-aim some of these spots and just go in for quick peeks, getting instant frags. And that is why I just think when it comes down to defending against AEC, you can't really go for aim duels against them. You can't really re-peek or re-aggress against them. You have to stall them down instead and then play around positions. Like you said, you got to use your smarts and not just your aim. So even coming down to it, top fragger, it's a Yumi. I kind of thought it was the Japips, but it's a really valiant effort, valiant attempt from OG. They made it really, really close. But at the end of it, AEC still comes out on top.
Yeah, and I have to admire as well Sway's entries.
Oh, yes.
That really made AE Celeste lose a couple of rounds because they kept losing the openings. It should be them holding the ankles, but Sway just swoops in and saves the day for OG all of the time, at least when they were attacking. But when it came down to AE's own attacks, it was Ayumi getting the openings as the chamber. I mean, not just using the tour de force, but even with an operator. And I have to admire both of these teams in terms of the damage. High damage for OG, and then as well as a headshot percentage. But in terms of the wins, though, AE comes out on top.
Yeah, especially with those objective wins. They're They're playing the game. They're not just going out for frags, and I think that's that's one thing that really puts them out on top. I mean, talk about that last round. Oreophilia, her teammates there as well. You've got the Hunter's Fury coming out first of all, just to basically, I don't know, annoy the OG players as they pushed up front. You got Napsky lining up for snake bites, and all they really needed was Oreophilia just to help them out, and that's what she did, coming down to it. So a little bit unfortunate, but AECL for now will be the victors, and this pushes them forward in terms of the brackets.
That's true, and they will be joined together with Team SMG in the upper brackets, while Zol Meraki and as well as Orangutan Esports will move to the bottom in the lower brackets. So at least it's not over for these two teams
Yeah.
that we saw earlier. They still have a chance because we're looking at the brackets. We're still waiting for the opponent of OG for tomorrow's matches, but looking at this, it's going to be Bren Esports or the team of Arise against SMG, and AE is still waiting for their opponents. This is not yet the updated brackets, so stay tuned for updates on the official page.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but perhaps the games are still, yeah, they're still going on the main FSL stream right now, or Valorant Esports 4, the Valorant Esports 4's Twitch page. But at the very least, you know what, lower bracket runs are more fun. Let's see what OG can do, because this is a team that really has a lot of potential as well. I mean, we talked about Zolmaraki and how they were able to play quite well against SMG. But at the same time, OG, this is their map. Icebox, with the way that they were playing from mid to B several times in the first half, that is something that I haven't seen before. They forced Alter Ego Celeste to call a timeout. That is something. That is something.
Yeah, AE usually doesn't really call a timeout unless it is needed. It means they were in a dire situation wherein they needed to regroup, rethink their strategies, and it means that the team of OG, they were a threat to AE.
They definitely were. They definitely were. Well, so that's what we have at least for today. It's been 2 O's so far. SMG and Alter Ego Celeste, they are incredibly strong. They will face off against each other yet again. And we shall see how that plays out. Meanwhile, Zomaraki, as well as Orangutan Esports, getting sent to the lower brackets. They still stand a chance at moving forward in this tournament, where we shall see how that plays out. So that's what we have for today. Any closing words, Donut?
Well, I guess it's just really so great to see both of the teams, Zol Meraki, go against a team of SMG and doing their best to really win out those rounds. This is now high time for them to prepare against their opponents, and even really a good message to the team of Orangutan against AE, getting that lead initially in the map of Icebox. As you mentioned, this is their map. A bit cold towards the end because AE was heating up, but still, them stringing out that rounds at the end of the day is still great progress for both of these teams, and it's not yet over because we'll see them more in the coming days.
Definitely great progress. I mean, I've missed this entire VCT Game Changers, APAC, FSL, these teams. We've seen them last year. They're back at it again, and every single one, every single player, every single team has grown so much, and they're not stopping. They're still innovating. They're still finding different ways to play against each other. And Orangutan Esports, with the way that they took off that many maps, that many rounds at the end of the first half against AEC, is absolutely proof of that. We shall see if they can do more, and that's probably going to happen tomorrow. So we shall see more of that. Follow the page. Follow Donut's socials.
So we'll see the updated brackets because, yes, the matches are still ongoing. But yeah, I think this is the end of the line for the substream for VCT Game Changers APAC series. Again, this has been me, Donut, and with me is Hey, I'm Quack. We'll see you again tomorrow.